Hello and good afternoon, Zingers. Jonathan Mallard here with another episode of Making Money with Benzinga Pro. I've got one of my favorite people here today, Joanie Jones, my colleague here at Benzinga, sharing with you a little bit about how to learn how to trade, how she got started, some of the tools she uses on Benzinga Pro. So buckle your seatbelts. It should be a great show. Hey, Joanie, good to see you, ma'am.
Hey, how's it going? I was just rocking out.
Oh yeah. I gotta thank the editors for that on the intro video. But glad to have you here on the show. I know, yeah, you've been working with Benzinga now for a year and a half?
I think, yeah, going on 2 years come the summer, so pretty
Awesome.
solid.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm really excited to have you on here to share a little bit about your trading journey because you didn't trade before working for Benzinga, right? And
Yeah.
then you've had some success recently. You've learned a lot in the past year and a half. And so, do you want to just share a little bit about where you've come from and what you've learned so far?
Yeah. So, one thing that I think, learning to trade with Benzinga, something that's been really cool for me to see is how Benzinga as a company will take advice or take input from different trial users, from subscribers, members, people on the team. And when I started working at Benzinga, there were not a lot of beginner strategies or tools that made sense. Everything was geared more towards the professional trader, which is great if you're a professional trader. But as somebody who doesn't come from a financial background, it was a little overwhelming to try and learn the system, learn the platform. When I first started trading, I wasn't even sure how do you find a stock to buy. Once you find a good stock, when do you buy it? When do you sell it? What price are you supposed to sell it at? How do you know it's going to get there? So I actually started out using our analyst ratings in the calendar because to me, I could say, I just want to get buy recommendations. And then I could say, this is the price they want us to sell it at. So now with those analyst ratings, that's a longer term trade. That's, 12 months you're expecting the price to get there. So when I realized, okay, if I set my price target when I'm going to sell it at a lower price, then it'll sell that stock once it gets to that price. So I feel like I learned a lot of things maybe slower than other people would learn them, but the analyst ratings was kind of like the first way that I was using Benzinga. And then I don't know if it was this last year probably when we started having these PDFs with some trade setups. We had some for buying the dip, right? So this is a swing trade. You could do a shorter couple days or a couple weeks, but essentially you're looking for this dip in the price of the stock, and then you buy it when it's low so you can sell it when it's higher. So then I started like investigating that, how much I could adjust, like what price I was gonna sell it at, how I would tell the price was gonna get to a certain point. And that's where you get to support level and resistance levels. So after those PDFs, I feel like we started offering products that were for teaching people how to trade. We started our trading school. We added on the options trading school. And then we also, I think, had more of a focus on webinars for options trading. We do that with Nick Shaheen. We have breakout trades. We have different recommendations. If you're like, hey, there's too much talk here about finding your own stocks, I just want somebody to tell me what those are. So I was using our breakout picks because those are a good swing trade as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, okay, well, I didn't always like when those stocks were coming out, because for me, I was like, well, I buy it and then the price goes down probably because other people are hearing about this stock and they sell it quicker than I even realize. So I'm sitting here thinking this stock is going to go up and the price goes down for a couple days. And, that to me is a little nerve wracking. Like, I thought I was going to make money doing it this way.
Right.
Um,
With
so
those swing trades that might be a couple weeks out.
exactly. And so keeping that time frame in mind, that's really hard as a beginner. So a couple things that I think I took away from my trading experience is knowing the time frame that you're going to be in a trade, and then a couple of indicators in the chart that are going to show me what direction I think the stock price is going. Um, so a
Cool.
couple, should I share my
Yeah,
screen?
yeah. Go ahead, share your screen. Let's. I'm curious to see, what's working for you even this week. For those of you who are watching, I'm sure everybody would be interested to see, what's been working for you here and now after that progression, trying different things out. So I'll go ahead and add your screen here,
Okay.
and just guide us through. How are you finding stocks right now, and what does that look like?
Okay, so this is my setup for Benzinga Pro. A couple of tools that I've been focusing on the most recently have been our scanner tool. Um, this is, if you've been on Benzinga Pro, I like to think of it as um, the movers tool on steroids, because it's giving you stuff that is actively moving right now. We have different refresh periods. There's an automatic refresh in real time.
It's looking
1 minute.
pretty blurry to me.
Oh, is it?
Okay, it just got better, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
All
Okay,
right.
good. So the scanner is real time. It'll show you stocks that are really moving. I know Jonathan went over the humbled traders setup for an overnight trade, for a breakout trade, and I use that same sort of setup here in this isn't actually set up the way it is in her setup, but she's looking for a higher volume. She's looking for, a certain price range. And then you're also looking for an average volume.
Over 500,000 shares a
Yep.
day, right?
Yeah. So she'll do the average volume over 500,000 shares, volume over 500,000 shares, relative volume over one. So you're essentially looking for a stock that has been trading a lot recently. People are excited about it. Excitement is good. That gives you, it's easier to buy the stock and sell it when you want to, because there's always going to be somebody else trading it. So usually what I do is I'll open up the scanner when the market opens. I set up these different filters. I just do $2 to $5 right now. I'm just kind of exploring stocks in that price range. And you can also do, she does under $20. But anyway, usually I'll get a short list, maybe 5 to 10 stocks. I copy them, and then I open up the watch list tool. So from today, I actually have this list of stocks, because this was the setup I used this morning. And once I have that list, then I take them into the chart. So this is me setting up in the morning. I've got this list that I got from the scanner, and then I will set up the chart here. I have been exploring the news feed a little bit, but I think the scanner is what I'm more practiced in. Typically, when I'm in the news feed, I'll select a couple categories, and then I go through the stocks one at a time. But let me just get back here to the chart, because I wanted to show you guys the indicators that I like to use the most.
So just
One,
really quick, before you get into the indicators, just to kind of recap here for
Mhm.
beginners, is you use the scanner to find those stocks that are relatively liquid, that are, up, gapping up for today. Then you copied and pasted some of those top results into a watch list. And then you just click through that watch list to make notes on the charts. Is that correct?
Exactly. So one thing, like when you click a stock's name in Benzinga, it'll open up the chart here, or the details tool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you click the chart. This is just where I go automatically, and then I start adding indicators. So this is my setup. When I'm adding indicators, I look for the EMA cross, which is already up here. Just wanted to show you guys that. Sometimes I do RSI for relative strength index, and then the MACD. So the thing that I like the most about the EMA is it's a moving average exponential. It takes the past 9 candlesticks and the past 26.
Mm-hmm.
So when this 9 candlestick, which here is pink, when that is below the other line, that means it's a downward trend, which you can tell here this is a very clear downward trend.
All right.
If I'm looking at this without indicators, obviously it's going down, but it just for some reason doesn't make sense to me until I put this indicator on it. So then one thing that I've discovered with this type of trading is I'll start to see these candlesticks like crossing that bottom line. And to me, that's an early indicator that the stock price is going up. The RSI, which is relative strength index, also will be near a bottom, probably bouncing off about 35. So that means it's undervalued or oversold. So the price is going to go up because it's low right now. It's worth more than it's selling for. So if I was taking this list here, I would just click these stocks one at a time and see which one looks like it's moving up quicker than the other stocks, essentially. I'm looking for like a really steep angle because that means the price is going up more rapidly. Yeah. So.
And you're doing most of this on the day chart to start out, correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's a good point. Once I have a stock, let me just show you that one that I just had here. It was Ride. This is a stock I entered today, and I break down the length of time as well, because I want to see if I'm buying this stock immediately, is the price going to start going down or not? So you kind of have to adjust that time frame to see how long you're going to be holding the stock as well. And I feel like some of it is sort of checking these EMAs to see, okay, the price is still rising if I'm looking at a 30-minute chart. And then I look back and see what the price has been in the past as well. So with this day chart, it's a little easier to see the longer term support and resistance.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I want to break it down, I look at the minute or the 30-minute. So I bought this stock. What I've been doing is I get my list of stocks in the pre-market. I wait until the end of the day to actually buy them if they're still kind of going up. It looks like they have a positive pattern. And then I buy them at the end of the trading day, and then sell them the following morning. So you have to be aware of the timing though, because typically once the market opens, people are selling that stock because they want to get their profit. So as long as you don't freak out, let things happen until probably about 11 o'clock. That's when I notice that the price will go back up, and that's when I typically sell my stocks.
So you're purchasing these the afternoon before.
Mm-hmm.
You're swinging it overnight. you don't freak out when it sells off a little bit at the open because
Right.
it's gapping up, and then you wait for it to kind of work its way back up.
Mhm.
Um, and then how do you deal with like stop? Like where do you set your stop levels?
Um, that's a good question. I think depending on the stock, I because I'm not from a trading background, I wouldn't say I have a very solid stop loss. I guess pattern that I use, but typically I try to pay attention to how much it's dropping. The price is dropping from where I purchased it.
Hmm.
My account is smaller, so I'm looking at like dollar amounts. And if it gets over a certain amount, I say, you know what, it's not worth it for me. I'm selling this stock. I actually have an example of one of my losses. Something that I've learned over time. Um,
And yeah, Mike in the chat here is saying it's still blurry.
oh,
Um,
full
so I'm not
screen.
sure. Are you sharing a small part of your screen right now?
Is this better?
I guess that definitely that makes it smaller overall.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
but we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see if that helps. And
Okay.
then in Virtiendo, right now, Joni has been working with stocks from $2 to $5. So these are smaller price per share stocks. It doesn't mean you have to do that to follow this type of strategy, but we're just diving a little bit more into an overnight swing strategy that we kind of are modifying from the humble trader. So for people who have smaller accounts, maybe you're under the PDT rule, have less than $25,000 in your account. There's different ways to find momentum in the market for specific companies, and then to buy into that momentum the night before and to sell the next day or within the next few days.
Yeah. So this is just an example that that I have. This stock is INO. I'm going to close this just to give us a little more space here, and let's look at the day chart. So when I bought this stock, it was 313. So it was right about here where my crosshairs are. And I was going to be, oh no, that was a win. I guess this is an example of a really short win. I bought it and it wasn't going up high enough. So by the end of the day, I wanted to use the money I was using for this stock for something else. So I just sold it at 325, and obviously I could have made a little bit more if I had waited a couple days. But to me, this is an example of like taking a win. So something that people say in the trading world is it's never bad to book profits. So by the end of the trading day, I realized I wanted to book some profits. They were very small profits, but that's fine. I sold the stock, and I'm looking back and I don't regret it because it's not doing much here to me. This is not moving very much. Um, let's see, one of my really good wins that I wanted to share is Dave Incorporated. I bought this stock at 624, which is like, 624. Is this really Dave? It's not looking how I expect it.
No, it's showing a different company right now for some reason.
Oh,
Try yeah,
do it in here maybe.
try switching companies. Yeah. There we
There we
go.
go. I was like, that doesn't look great.
You're like
So this stock I bought at $6.24. So like right about here. I keep moving my crosshairs. And then I ended up selling a little bit when the price went up. I sold it at 6.78. So like I bought it this day, sold it this day, and then I sold a little more once it got to 7.46. So if I had stayed in here, I probably could have made a couple more cents, but I tend to be a little more conservative. So for me, that was a win. I followed my strategy. I didn't have any regrets because I sold it all too early. I sold a little bit first, and then I thought, maybe this stock is going to keep going. I sold a little bit the next day. To me, that's a really good success.
Mm-hmm. And from DM King here, they're saying, what advice can you give for someone who wants to start investing but has a very small budget? Are there safe ways if you really keep an eye on the market and analyze the stock's movement? And so, something that you mentioned earlier, just to reiterate this for maybe someone just joined before, you mentioned keeping for you is a certain dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe saying, "Oh, I'm going to risk $10, or I'm going to if I lose $10, I'm out. If I lose $100, I'm out." So
Right.
just depending on your account size and what you can afford to lose, basically on one trade, you decide that ahead of time, and you can use indicators and that type of thing as well. But for Joanie, what works for her is you can pretty much see on your brokerage, like, this is my P&L for the trade, either I'm up or I'm down, and just sticking to your guns there, saying, all right, I this triggered my entry, but ahead of time I know if it goes down this amount of money on the position or hits this level, then I'm out. So the key there, DM King, is to know your plan ahead of time, to know what you're risking so that you're not letting your emotions dictate your trade. Um, and then of course, having that technical setup. So Joanie, do you want to talk a little bit more about what made you pull the trigger on this, to enter it? And then for you, this might still be a growth area, or maybe you already had it crystallized in your mind. What was your trigger for getting out? Was it just like, oh, I'm up, so I want to take the profit because it's a green trade, or was it something else?
Yeah. So for me, let me see, where was my trigger? Let's see how far back we were. March 22nd. Okay. So essentially when I use that trade setup for a breakout trade, I'm looking for the volume to be up a little bit. I wish I had pulled this up. Let me see if I can find it in my brokerage so I know what day I had it. Essentially, when I saw the candlesticks here, this is a 30-minute time period. When I saw them crossing through this pink line and I saw that the volume was up, to me, that's an indication, hey, this stock is going up. And I keep looking as in real time as you're watching this chart, you can see that these candlesticks are above this pink line. As long as they stay that way, that to me indicates that positive growth. If you start seeing this little doji, which is the name of this little cute little red candlestick, that to me is that trend reversal. So with this stock, I actually kept looking at that dollar amount. And when I saw it reached a certain percentage, I said, this is a green trade. I'm making a couple bucks on this, so I'm just going to sell it. It did continue to run. Obviously, it's 9.91 right now. I sold it at 7.46, just a couple days ago. So obviously, it kept going up. But for me, I said, I've seen my my wins go all the way up and then come all the way back down, and I don't like that feeling. So I'd rather just catch a little bit of that volume and a little bit of that price movement and then sell it and then call it a day. So one phrase
Awesome.
that I hear people say is pigs eat and hogs get slaughtered. And I'm just a little pig. I don't need I don't need hog amounts of money. Just give me a little bit to eat for today and I'll be happy.
Yeah, and so yeah, it went up there and it came back down. And so if you scroll to the right, will it show the future days there? I'm
Yeah.
just looking at this pattern here. So like just because for DM King here, just because you exit a trade doesn't mean you can't get back in. I was talking about this with Andy Cole and Mike, the blind trader, and they're very experienced traders, and they'll go in and out of the same stocks all day. Sometimes I think yesterday Mike was saying he was trading, what was it? It's like CYNX or something like that. But you can see here how sometimes there's even a pattern where you could trade it up for the day, and then depending on if you have a day trading account or not, you could do it multiple times in the same day, or the next day is a new day. So you can do it again there.
Yeah.
We've got a couple minutes left here. Um, do you want to show what you're using on the news feed to find trades as well?
Sure. So this is the news feed here on the left. I just select the Benzinga wire because I don't need a ton of alerts. I don't need a ton of articles. Just give me a couple things to look through. I have the importance level on. So then I take the analyst ratings. I actually just select initiations and upgrades.
If you could zoom in on that, I'm sure
Oh,
that
yeah.
would help our viewers.
Is this any better or should I do this?
Like Control Plus, or yeah, that helps.
Better? Okay. So under analyst ratings, I'm getting initiations and upgrades because that's where I started. I love me some analyst ratings. I like Benzinga exclusives because that means we are breaking the news. I've got biotech and healthcare because anything related to those fields is hot right now. I select the hot category. I've got mergers and acquisitions, market moving exclusives, and then anybody who liked the idea of an analyst rating, you're going to love these trading ideas.
Interesting.
So the movers, that's good. That's a good one. We've got small cap analysis and technicals. These will show you articles that actually have an analysis of the chart. I wonder if I could find them. Trading ideas. So sometimes they'll share indicators in a chart. They'll say we're expecting the price to go to here, or they'll show a pattern that's happening in the chart. Some of that information goes over my head, but I do know that other people who like that feedback, they're getting, a little more color on what's happening in a stock price. And then yeah, so I would just do the same thing I did with the scanner. I click these symbols one at a time and then just see what's happening in the chart on the right side.
Perfect. So you have those categories. You know those categories are more likely to impact the price of the stock, and so instead of waiting for it to hit the scanner, you could just go straight to those news catalysts as well. And I am posting a link here for anyone who doesn't already have a subscription or a free trial. Use that link to sign up for a free trial. There's no credit card required. We're not going to surprise you by charging your card, but check this out for 14 days. It could be a great way to empower your trading and use all these same tools. You get the scanner, charting, news feed, the chat, and then we didn't even talk about the ideas tool today, where you can get a lot of ideas from our community. So, Joanie, thanks for coming on, sharing a little bit about your story and how you've grown in your trading. I know there's a lot of beginners out there that I talk to, that you talk to on a daily basis. So, and for everyone who's on here, be sure you like and subscribe to our channel and tune in the upcoming days. Every day at 3 o'clock, I've got some great guests that will be joining us over the next couple weeks, so you can learn more about how other people are trading profitably with Benzinga Pro. So, Joanie, thanks again. Any last comments for everybody viewing?
It doesn't hurt to try something. So if you're scared a little bit, know your risk, but then, try it out, see if it works. You're a scientist, so this is kind of what we're doing, is science. So
awesome. All right, take care, everybody, and as always, happy trading.